going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aidan. Welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 games back to back in our return, and 2 very important and very big victories for the Chicago Bulls. And now we have a little bit of rest until we head into the next one. But this game was extremely well rounded, extremely positive to watch. And ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is the Bulls are back, and be very happy that your Chicago Bulls are back. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bull Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today. From the very start to the very beginning, how proud of you are you of your Chicago Bulls team, and just overall your thoughts on the player of the game. We will have a lot to get into in that area. The Chicago Bulls won this game 133 to 118. A very, very positive win for the Chicago Bulls. From the very start, going on a 9-0 run to the very end of the game, we absolutely had the grasp on this game, and we simply did not let it go. And we did a lot of things right compared to the last time that we versed the Houston Rockets away from home. We did a lot more right in this game. We ended up doing what we were supposed to do in that game. We versed a very young team, a very inexperienced team, and it showed in the way that they played today for the majority. And we took advantage of that, and we walked away with a very positive victory. A victory that I think was very well needed for our season, and we got revenge over the Houston Rockets for what they did to us in their home. It's a fantastic win for the Chicago Bulls. It's never easy going back-to-back against 2 Western Conference sides. You don't verse the Western Conference teams a whole lot in the NBA. You only verse them twice. So they could come out and surprise you. They could come out and slip you one in the mouth, and then to just pretty much take a win away from home and run. And that's what Western Conference teams tend to do when they go to the East. They like to take teams in the Eastern Conference and bully them and take their wins. So it's glad to see that we defended home court. It's glad to see that we defended it off of a back-to-back. And again, I'm really positive. I'm really proud of the just overall effort from every single one of these players. I can honestly say with a full hand on heart, there is not one person on this team that I'm not proud of today. I loved every single one of the performances that I saw in today's game. And again, it just goes to show that whether we are shorthanded, whether we have players out for injuries, which we'll talk about later, whether we don't have the exact roster there, you need to provide energy. That's the first thing. You need to work very hard. That's the second thing. And also you need to have balance in the team. And that's the third thing. And when all 3 of those things ends up working out for you, you will win the game more often than not. And in this situation, you will blow out a team that you should be blowing out. Now, to be fair, the Houston Rockets was a team that went on a massive winning streak after the last time they beat the Chicago Bulls. So we were the team that allowed them to build that confidence to go and beat other teams. And at the end of the day, that is something that the Chicago Bulls should always think about. And of course, I'm happy that we got that revenge game over them. In the last video against the LA Lakers game reaction, I said in that video, against the Houston Rockets, we're going to need that bench, ladies and gentlemen. Because at the end of the day, the Houston Rockets, again, I think a lot of teams that are in the situation where they're kind of tanking or where they're not at the highest level with their starters, they usually have good bench production because I guess the team's not finalized and set in their ways. They're giving a lot of people opportunities to play. So a lot of tanking teams might have better benches in the league. The Houston Rockets has one of the best benches in the league according to statistics. So you needed to have the Chicago Bulls bench step up. Not only did they step up, they performed so well for the Chicago Bulls. We had over 60 points off of our bench today. Now, that's not something you're going to see every day, and it's not something you're going to need every single day for the team. But ladies and gentlemen, when the bench is playing the way that it is, it's very hard to stop this team. A lot of people talk about our bench scoring as a very big issue. When those things don't show for the Chicago Bulls, when the bench scoring is on fire the way that it is, it's only going to be a positive for the team, and it's only going to result in a victory for the Chicago Bulls. A fantastic bench scoring night, over 60 points off the bench. A really proud moment for this team as well. One of the best ball movement games of our season, one of the best bench scoring games of our season, and just one of the better overall games of our season overall. Another team that we've soundly defeated. Let's look at the individual performances, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the positives and the negatives. Starting off, usually we always start off with this player, the big baller, Lonzo Ball. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and 1 block. He was shooting 50% from the field today, 4 from 9 from the 3-point line. Unbelievably strong game from Lonzo Ball, and he's kind of turned the tide for how this game went. At the end of the day, there was a very strong comeback for the Houston Rockets in the third quarter. They were trying to push the tempo. They were trying to push up in at the defensive end, and they got within 15 points, and Alonzo Ball just absolutely said, I'm going to take this game. I'm going to make sure they don't come back. That's something we saw against the Houston Rockets in the second half. We allowed them to come back from that 8-point lead that we had against them. And then also, same with the Portland Trail Blazers. We've seen it before where teams can get on a run, a very strong run, and take over and end up winning the game against the Chicago Bulls. It's not the first time we've seen it. It might not be the last time that we see it. But Alonzo Ball had a really big part in that win and had a really big part in the difference maker of the game. And he's definitely contention for me, a player of the game. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But moving on to another contender, ladies and gentlemen, DeMar DeRozan had 26 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists, shooting 61% from the field. And again, I don't believe he had a fourth quarter point, or not many fourth quarter points to say the least. He was only 4 from 4 from the free throw line as well. A lot of his buckets came from the mid-range, and exactly what we expect from him. He's making the right decisions every single time when it comes to the mid-range shot, when it comes to moving the ball. He had 26 and 6 tonight. So there's no question that he is a fantastic performer for the Chicago Bulls today, and it doesn't surprise anybody at this point. It doesn't surprise anybody how well DeMar DeRozan is playing on this team. I think Billy Donovan is giving him the license to free roam and do whatever he likes on the court, and he's making the right decisions, and we're trusting in him to carry us to victories, ladies and gentlemen, and he's delivering with 2 wins and a back-to-back and 2 strong performances at that. Nikola Vucevic, 18.6 rebounds, 4 assists with 2 blocks. A fantastic block to say the least as well. His second block of the game against a driving player. Just absolutely phenomenal block that was. And again, Nikola Vucevic, 8 from 18 from the field, 2 from 8 from the 3-point line, 44% from the field. Considering he's an outside shooter for the majority, that's not bad at all for a center that likes to shoot the 3 ball. And I'm very, very impressed with Nikola Vucevic in terms of field goal. And it's a big step up from what we've seen in previous performances. Of course, there's another level he can go to, and we all know that, and Vucevic especially knows he could go to another level. But when he's performing like this, when he's dropping 18, 6, and 4 on 44% shooting, I don't think that's a bad game for Vucevic whatsoever, and it's just a step forward in his progression, and hopefully he can continue to find a level of consistency in this team that makes him on the court very valuable for us, and he was very valuable for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Javonte Green, 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. The very first points of the game, ladies and gentlemen, was probably the biggest message for the Chicago Bulls in terms of how we're going to play today. The Houston Rockets win the tip-off. Javonte Green steals the ball, heads it to a dunk, easy as you like. 2 points on the board that starts off the game and ultimately started off the tempo and the way that we played. He started off everything, ladies and gentlemen, and although the stats might not show that he had a great game in terms of scoring, when you get 4 assists from Javonte Green, that's a fantastic game. He's our power forward. He's someone that's not always going to get the ball as the 5th option on the team in the starting lineup. So at the end of the day, he dropped dimes, ladies and gentlemen. When he gets the ball, he did something with it, and that's all you can ask for from a 5th option on the team. Any player that gets 4 assists on this team is going to have a really good game, in my opinion, and especially with someone that doesn't have the ball as much as Javonte Green has. To have 4 assists is a great night for me, in my opinion. Alex Caruso, I'm not going to talk too much about. He did walk out with a left calf injury or a left foot strain, something of that nature. I can't remember the exact injury, and I apologize. All I can say is another man down to injury now, so hopefully this is not a long injury for Alex Caruso. He can come back against the Raptors, come back against the Pacers, or if he has to take a week off and recover and get well soon, and hopefully we can see him back on the court better than ever. Alex Caruso is a huge loss to the team. Thankfully, we didn't have to see how much of a loss he was against this Houston Rockets team, but we all know Alex Caruso is a big player for this team. Same with Derrick Jones Jr. And of course, with so many players out already, that's the last thing that you want to see. But again, all I can say is that get well soon for Alex Caruso. Moving on to the bench, Coby White. Whew, Coby White, ladies and gentlemen, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in today's game, 7 from 15 from the field, 5 from 9 from the 3-point line. His first half, I have to be honest, wasn't great, but his second half, unbelievable. Fantastic second half from Coby White. And again, I'm not expecting 24 points a night from Coby White. I think we're at that stage. He's a bench player. I expect around 10 to 20 at times for Kobe White, and that's the level that I think he has to earn up to on very good scoring numbers. But when you get games like this from Kobe White, especially when you know the Chicago Bulls are going to need it with Alex Caruso out, he stepped up for this team and he delivered on the court. A fantastic night from Kobe White overall, one that I think does bring a lot more of people back on his side in my opinion, and hopefully he can continue that level of play. Maybe not 24 points a night, but 46% from the field efficiency wise with 15 shots is fantastic in my opinion. And then if he can continue to score at an efficient rate for the Chicago Bulls with the shot selection that he takes, I think we're going to be just fine. I loved his aggressiveness today. He was 5 from 5 from the free throw line as well. And again, they don't have a shot blocker on that team, so taking it to the paint is a great decision in my opinion, and he just stepped up in a big way offensively for this team. He's trying very hard defensively as well. I can't really ask too much more from Kobe White. It's a fantastic game and one that I think we can continue to see. Hopefully it's a consistent theme for Kobe White. Alfonso McKennie, ladies and gentlemen, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist and 1 block. He is playing for a roster spot, ladies and gentlemen, and if he keeps on performing at that level for this team, if he does that 2-3 more times, we could definitely see a roster spot available for him in my opinion. Again, he is a very good three-point shooter, 4 from 6 from the three-point line. He felt it tonight, got a couple of alley-oops, got a couple of putbacks. Just a great night for Alfonso McKennie, and again, he's playing for a contract spot, and I think there's a contract spot somewhere here for him if he continues that level of play. You're out there to impress your coach. You're out there to impress the fans. If you can do both, then you're guaranteed a spot on this team in my opinion, and I definitely think there is a chance that he can come onto this team. It's only one game, so I'm not going to go and push the let's get him into this team right now, let's do it. I'm not going to be like that. It's only one game, but this makes it a lot more interesting to see if he can play like this in the next game. And if he does that, then maybe there's a roster spot here, a permanent roster spot for him here. Or maybe he could keep on getting that 10-day contract for hardship exemptions with players going out to injury. And obviously we still have a couple of players in health and safety protocols. We might see him on this team for quite some time, even if he's not on a permanent contract. That just gives him more chances to impress the Chicago Bulls. And again, it's a great start to his impressive start. It's an impressive start for him, I should say. Let's see if he can keep it going. Tyler Cook, someone that I know many of you guys wanted to get a lot of more minutes from. He played 16 minutes today, meaningful minutes as well. 11 points and 1 rebound. A lot of points in the paint, a lot of free throws. He had the most free throw shots, I believe, on the team, 7 from 8. He got to the line. He's a very aggressive, very athletic type of player. So I expect nothing less in terms of, I guess, the getting into the paint and doing all those types of things. I don't expect anything less. So at the end of the day, I'm very happy with his performance as well. And adding 11 points off of the bench is fantastic in my opinion. Tony Bradley, ladies and gentlemen, had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Biggest thing about Tony Bradley, did not miss a shot. He took 3 shots and he made 3 buckets in today's game. And again, there could have been a lot more from where that came from with Tony Bradley. But again, when he's moving out to the mid-range, you can clearly see that the shot was falling for him today and he was very confident to take it. Lonzo Ball, in my opinion, was a big part as to Tony Bradley's game today. And I think Tony Bradley, this is the type of game I'd love to see consistently from him. These are the type of stats for a backup center that I think will be very valuable for this team. Getting those 2 points, 4 points is great. And again, he is someone that can help us make runs defensively. He's a very versatile and very athletic big man. He can run out in transition like we saw today with his dunk from Lonzo Ball's assist. We've seen a lot of positive things from Tony Bradley, but the stats don't always show it. So if he could do that with the stats showing it, it's going to be a great having a player like him as the backup center. Let's just see if that could be a consistent theme from going. I hope that could really be the case. He played very limited minutes as well compared to everybody else. So that's something else we need to look at. The last player I'm going to talk about, Devon Dotson, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a lot of energy plays, a lot of hustle plays, and again, adding 5 points on the bench where we could have very well needed it with the bench scoring and Alex Caruso being out. Again, he's not going to be the man on the rotation who's going to drop 20 because he doesn't get enough minutes to do that, but 5 points and 4 assists with 14 minutes played is a very good return for a player like Devon Dotson, and that's probably the first time this season where he's played meaningful minutes, and I think he took advantage of it. He also did not miss from the field today. No must improve, ladies and gentlemen. 62 points off of the bench. A fantastic starter's performance as well. Not one player can I look at and say must improve. No one. And this is honestly the one video I can say that. There have been other videos where I've let things go because obviously players return, players don't perform well, players are in their debuts in the starting lineup, stuff like that. I don't want to give must improves just for the sake of it. So this is the only video, I should say, or one of the only videos this season where there's truly not one person I can look at and say they were awful today. They were not up to the standards that they could play at, and they need to improve. So I'm very, very proud of this team. I have two players that are going to be in line for the player of the game, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is obviously, when you look at the stats, you can't lie. The stats do show a lot in this game. DeMar DeRozan is the first one with 26 points and 6 assists on this game. Unbelievably strong. Carried the Chicago Bulls as well. And this was, I thought, a fairly quiet night for DeMar DeRozan. I know that's saying a lot, but he did look for his teammates a lot more tonight than you usually see from him. Usually in the fourth quarter, he's carrying the load. He's taking mid-ranges, left, right, and center, fade away, getting into the basket, free throw lines, all of this. He really looked for his players today, and the 6 assists shows that he made it work for the Chicago Bulls, and it goes to show his diversity in damaging other opponents at an MVP caliber level is present in his playmaking as well. He's a great playmaker when he wants to be. He's obviously an elite mid-range shooter. He's an elite player to get into the paint, and he played within the system today. There wasn't a lot of isolation for him, so he had an amazing game. And someone else that I want to give it to is the big baller, Lonzo Ball. 5 steals is massive for the Chicago Bulls, and defense, the defensive end is exactly what I expect from Lonzo Ball every single night. Maybe not statistically, but effort-wise, he always brings it. And again, that third quarter, when they made that run to get it to 15 points, people could have said that would have been the shift in the tide. The momentum's going to swing to the Houston Rockets side. They're going to bring it to a comeback, make it to a 10-point single-digit game, and then they're in the game then after that. They're going to make it a very close game from here on in. That honestly is potentially what could have happened if Lonzo Ball wasn't on the team today. Because if Lonzo Ball did not have that 5-minute stretch in the late third quarter where he had 3-point shots, facilitating, running out in transition, giving open players easy shots, lobs, all of that within a short space of time, this game could have had a different song and dance to it. This game could have been a very hard one to talk about. It all really could have been, within that one short period, a different game that we could be talking about. But Lonzo Ball made sure that that didn't happen, and that was all Lonzo Ball in that last stretch of that third quarter. And that really, in my opinion, sealed the game for us in more ways than one. So he's another player that I'm going to put in contention and an option and my player of the game with DeMar DeRozan. He was fantastic tonight. Kobe White's a shout for it. Vucevic could potentially be a shout for it. McKinney off the bench. Again, you could probably pick the whole team in this category because everybody played a massive part to the win, and that's the whole point of a team game. Everybody is balanced, everybody is deserving, and everybody played to their level, and I'm very happy about that. The Chicago Bulls record is 19-10, 2 off the bounce, ladies and gentlemen, in our return. And again, we're doing this without Zach LaVine. We're doing this now without Derrick Jones Jr. We're doing this without Alex Caruso. We're doing this without Ayo Dosunmu. We are finding wins in mysterious ways, and it's perfectly fine for the Chicago Bulls. By hook, by crook, by 1 point, by 15 points, by 20 points. I don't care how much we win by right now, because we know every win counts at this point in the season. With the players out that we have, with players injured that we have, we need to make sure that we can find wins any chance we get them. Houston is a team that is currently on the side of tanking or on a negative record. You have to go and beat these teams at home. Same with the Los Angeles Lakers, they are on a neutral record. We have to go and beat them at home. And whether we had the players or we don't have the players, these are just things expected from the Chicago Bulls, and we delivered in fine fashion. So congratulations to the Chicago Bulls on a fantastic win tonight and a fantastic back-to-back performance. And our next game will be in a couple of days against the Toronto Raptors. Now, if you thought this game against Houston was difficult, the one against the Raptors will be difficult as well. They play very hard. Their record might show that it might be an easier time for the Chicago Bulls, but you can never take any opponent lightly in the NBA. And Toronto always play hard. That's the one thing you got to give them credit for. Currently sitting 10th in the Eastern Conference, have a chance to make the play-in. You got to take these teams seriously. They're going to come in, they're going to try and energize their team away from home. They're going to try and make sure to stop your energy. They're going to try and go on runs. You have to be ready for a team like the Toronto Raptors, where yes, we still, even now, despite their tough stretch of protocols as well, very, very upsetting to hear for the Toronto Raptors side of things and everybody in the NBA pretty much. They're going through a tough time with protocols. They're going through tough times with injuries, as are the Chicago Bulls. And that sucks to see. But these are just games you have to take advantage of now. It's just as simple as that. We do have the better team, and we need to show why we are the better team against the Toronto Raptors. If they win, at the end of the day, you shake their hands, you move on to the next one. But I think the Chicago Bulls need to do everything in their power to beat the Toronto Raptors at home. You always got to defend home court, and hopefully we can do it well. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.